All right, guys. So the Green Bay Packers move on to 4-8 on the year, losing to the now 10-1 Philadelphia Eagles last night, Sunday Night Football, 40-33. I actually went to this game, so we have a lot to talk about and go over, giving my initial reaction to this loss. This was the Packers' last potential chance to even make the playoffs, even though it would have still been slim. If they had won this game through the ESPN odds, I think it would have been 18% chance to make the playoffs. With a loss, that drops all the way down to 2%. So at this point, the Packers are pretty much, out of playoff contention, in my opinion. Yeah, sure, they're not officially eliminated, but the odds of them actually making it are very, very slim. And this game overall was just very rough, especially on the defense, which we'll get into here next, but also some issues on the offense early on as well, and to start the second half. But there are some lone bright spots to take out of this game for the future for the Green Bay Packers. Before we dive into all the stats, I do want to point out something that was pretty funny. Being at the game, I don't believe they showed it on the broadcast. When Jair Alexander was hurt, what seemed like a lower leg, a cramp or something of the sort, as he was walking off the field, or even before he got up, every single Eagles fan in the stadium was booing him, and they did that all night. No matter what the injury was or who got injured on the Packers, they booed them as if they were faking it every single time. I mean, Philly fans have never been classy. It's definitely the worst stadium out of the 16 I've been to. I mean, you get berated the entire time just for liking another team, even if you say absolutely nothing to them. And that showed. I mean, when the Packers had any type of injury, even when it was under 2 minutes and the Packers were forced to use a timeout, they were still booing like the Packers were doing it to get the clock to stop, yet they had to use a timeout to do so. Very weird, but what I was saying was Jair Alexander, as coming off the field, flipped the double bird to the stands, which was something really funny to see live because I really doubt they showed it on broadcast, but really irked a lot of the Eagles fans in the stadium. So really funny to see Jair do that. All right, so as for the Packers defense, I'm done with Joe Barry, man. And I know this is like really late to say this, and a lot of people have been saying it pretty much all year. I'm an optimistic person. Going in, I believe, they can make it work. They have great talent on defense, and I'm talking to the start of the year. And Joe Barry, was a okay coordinator last year, and maybe he would build on that. But yeah, I'm not seeing it anymore. Yeah, sure, the Packers lost some talent with Rashawn Gary, being out for the year. Zadarius Smith going over to Minnesota, Devondre Campbell being out, them being really light at linebacker. I get that, and the safety's playing pretty poorly. But at some point, you have to go, okay, this defensive coordinator is not putting the players in the best position to succeed. And that showed a lot this year so far. So again, I'm done with Joe Barry, but hey, the Packers likely will not move on to him at least until the offseason, which really irks me because the season's already over, so you might as well, start making those moves at that point. But man, tonight just showed every single flaw on this Packers defense tenfold, and especially the run defense. I mean, they got obliterated in the run game. Jalen Hurts did what he wanted whenever he wanted in terms of the run game, as did Miles Sanders. Jalen Hurts ran 17 times, 157 yards, 9.2 yards per carry. So every time Jalen Hurts ran, he pretty much got a first down. That's pretty much what that's saying. And Miles Sanders, 21 carries, 143 yards, 6.8 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns. Even Kenneth Gainwell, 8 for 39, 4.9 yards per carry. Boston Scott, 3 for 24, 8.0 yards per carry. The Philadelphia Eagles ran the ball 49 times, 363 yards, 7.4 average, and 3 touchdowns. And it wasn't anything extravagant in terms of their schemes. It was simple draw handoffs inside zones out of shotgun or a design quarterback run for Jalen Hurts. And I don't know as a defense how you don't see that coming and make adjustments for that. Yeah, sure, it's easier said than done. The Philadelphia Eagles are a great running team. But man, it's nothing crazy, and they were doing the same thing over and over and over again. And why wouldn't they? Because it worked. It destroyed the Packers defense. The front seven could not stop the run. The defensive backs could not make a tackle when they pushed the running back to the outside. It was really, really bad. I mean, even in the stadium, man, you could see what the Eagles were going to run next. You knew, okay, it's either going to be a draw or a read option at this point. They barely had to throw the ball. I mean, Jalen Hurts threw for 153 yards. They just had to run the ball, and it worked every single time. I mean, they pretty much got, 3/4 of the first down no matter what every single time, and they just absolutely owned the Packers defense. As I was saying, Jalen Hurts, 16 for 28, 153 yards, 2 touchdowns. Did get sacked twice. The Packers did manage to get 2 sacks there. A 96.3 rating. Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback. Definitely not swaying any credit away from the Philadelphia Eagles. The Packers run defense is absolutely garbage. It's actually second worst in the NFL at 154.8 yards per game allowed. Second worst to the Houston Texans, which is also probably the worst team in the NFL. So, I mean, not good company there for the Packers defense. And it still baffles me that the Packers defense is playing this bad. And yeah, sure, it was the 9-1 Eagles. You expect them to go out there and score points, but 40 points. This defense did not play well at all. And yeah, the offense doesn't help them sometimes. Aaron Rodgers throwing 2 interceptions or, going 3 and out. I get that. But nonetheless, the Philadelphia Eagles scored 40 points on the Packers. The only lone bright spot for the defense last night was the strip on A.J. Brown and the Quay Walker run back. What was that? About 60 yards. Almost took it to the house, broke a couple tackles. So nice job, Quay Walker, being in the right place, getting that ball. Quay Walker has been playing well since Devondre Campbell had to step out with that knee injury. So that is a bright spot there. But overall, the safety play, again, it's poor. Jair Alexander played okay. Rasul Douglas had a really rough day. Thought he would play better against his former team. The front 7 was not good. I'd say the only bright spot there was Kingsley Enagbare, who's had a really, really nice stretch of games. I think we have something real in him. And Justin Hollins, who we signed this week, I think had a few pressures as well. So nice for him to step into pretty much a starting role, get plenty of snaps, and play well. So yeah, the total pressures, Kingsley Enagbare had 4, Justin Hollins had 3, Jerron Reed had 3, Preston Smith 3, Quay Walker 2, John Garvin, Dean Lowry, Kenny Clark, and Devontae Wyatt all had 1 apiece. And that also makes me want to talk about Kenny Clark. I feel like this guy has disappeared in the last 5 to 6 weeks. Early on in the season, he was, wrecking centers all across the league, and seems like he was disrupting almost every play. And I feel like I haven't seen him at all in these recent games, and I think that's a byproduct of, why the Packers defense is so bad, especially in the run game, because Kenny Clark just simply isn't playing well, and that defensive line just really isn't playing well. Dean Lowry's not playing well. Jerron Reed's okay. They're not using Devontae Wyatt as much as they should. TJ Slayton's not playing that well. And like I said, Kenny Clark's not playing that well. That front 7, is getting decimated by the run game. And we saw that, prime time last night. All right, so now moving on to the offense. Aaron Rodgers, again, just a pretty shaky game. Although he did make some really nice throws last night, still, we saw the same reoccurring issues with turnovers, throwing some poor balls, but overall, he did do okay. He was 11 for 16, 140 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He was sacked 3 times, a couple times where it just seemed like, dude, you got to throw the ball. You're waiting back there way too long. A 95.8 quarterback rating. And obviously, I believe the third quarter going into the fourth, checked out with a rib injury. Didn't come back in, and we'll talk about Jordan Love here in a second, but Jordan Love came in and really, really impressed me. But as for Aaron Rodgers, obviously the thumb injury, it's all messed up. I mean, I think it's an avulsion fracture, I believe it's called, which is something that 9 times out of 10 requires surgery, and he's playing with it. No one's questioning Aaron Rodgers' toughness and grit. I mean, he, at this point, has the same level of toughness as someone like Brett Favre did, in my opinion, and he's playing through it. But it seems like year and year again, it's always the case of, I've been playing through said injury for the last 8 weeks. It's like, it would kind of mean more if he kind of disclosed that when it happened, rather than I'm going to disclose it after I'm playing poorly because, look at my broken thumb type of thing. And like I said, I'm not questioning his grit, and I thought he actually played pretty decently last night, but the 2 turnovers definitely really hurt the Packers. But overall, the offense was okay, scored 33 points. I believe the offense did enough to win a football game. It's just the Eagles scored 40. The run game was really good against the Eagles. A.J. Dillon finally had a really nice game, 8 for 64, 8.0 average. Aaron Jones had a really nice game, especially in the receiving game, but for rushing, 12 carries, 43 yards, 3.6 average. In the receiving game, Aaron Jones, 3 receptions, 56 yards and a touchdown as well. Obviously, they had that screen play, and then also the crosser route where Aaron Rodgers went back towards the middle and found Aaron Jones in the back of the end zone. But the highlight of the offense, given that the Packers lost and they moved to 4-8 and are likely out of playoff contention, was Christian Watson and Jordan Love. Christian Watson, man, has been balling out these last 4 weeks. And I know a lot of people, earlier in the season at week 6, he's a bust because he can't get on the field. The dude's a rookie, and it was 6 weeks through his first season of the NFL. Even if he didn't play in his first season, I mean, you have guys like Jamison Williams on the Lions that haven't played yet. Is he a bust? No, because we haven't seen him play yet. So when he finally starts getting his snaps, look what he does. He has extreme athleticism, extreme speed. That crosser touchdown for Jordan Love where he burned the Eagles defense, where it looked like he was dead to rights and he could maybe gain another 10 yards, and he burned them for 64 yards. This dude has extreme talent. And I remember seeing multiple comments, oh, take that Christian Watson jersey down behind you. I can't stand that, man. He's a rookie. He's played through now, 12 weeks of the NFL season, and he's looked really, really good. I don't think anyone has more touchdowns than him in the past 4 weeks, so very, very impressive there. He went 4 receptions for 110 yards and a touchdown on 6 targets along of that 63-yard touchdown. Really like what I've seen from him. And what I also really loved was Jordan Love. I mean, he only played a little bit, but he ended up scoring, 10 points for the Green Bay Packers. He went 6 for 9, 113 yards, a touchdown, didn't get sacked, had 146.8 quarterback rating. And I really liked his systematic throwing on the offense. It seemed like he was kind of more into the scheme than Aaron Rodgers has been all year, where it seemed like he knew the play, he knew the hot reads, he knew where to go. It was his 3-step drop, and he was making that read. Whereas Aaron Rodgers kind of sits and waits for someone to get open, and when they don't, he either gets sacked or throws it away or tries to extend the play. Whereas Jordan Love was going to the one hot read or the second read, making a decision or getting out of the pocket and trying to make another play, which a couple times he did throw it across, and it should have been maybe DPI, but he also could have ran. So would have like to see better decision making there by Jordan Love, maybe just to run that when he threw it across back towards the middle. But I get it. You're down. You need a touchdown. You're just trying to make a play. So I'm not faulting him there. But I didn't have high hopes when he came into the game because the Eagles are a really good team. And what we've seen from Jordan Love getting thrown into games in years past hasn't looked good. But I was extremely impressed with him last night. His ability to make plays, make really nice, high velocity, direct throws, especially to Christian Watson. A really nice out route on a third down that the Packers hadn't converted a third down previously in the entire game with Aaron Rodgers. Jordan Love comes in and converts a third down. So really liked what I saw from him. Aaron Rodgers will probably be back to play next week, even though the Packers are out of contention at this point. Not officially eliminated, but I think Aaron Rodgers will play until they actually are officially eliminated. But I do want to see what they have with Jordan Love at this point. And I'm a huge Aaron Rodgers fan. This dude has brought me so much, joy as a Packers fan over the year. But I do think we need to see some of the Jordan Love for the rest of the year, just because the Packers really don't have a chance at making the playoffs. It kind of just makes sense to see what they have in Jordan Love as for the future. And then just quickly touching on special teams, Keyshawn Nixon, man, game ball for special teams for sure. I think he had 2 50-yard plus kick returns and then also a 38-yard return. Looks like the real deal finally at kick return. Actually looks like a returner. I don't know how they were starting Amari Rodgers over this guy. This guy's been on the roster all year. It makes no sense to me. Just, more insanity with the coaching at this point with special teams and all of that. But at least that is another bright spot. Hey, Keyshawn Nixon, you look like a great returner. But that about does it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please leave a like down below. Also, if you are new here and want more Packers news analysis and updates, go down, hit that subscribe button, and turn on post notifications. But I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Pack Go.